In this lesson we're going to look at the piano solo. Now this is quite an intricate part, it's quite nice, but you start to realise as you develop these layers through Rather Be how complex this song actually is. In the early stages of it, oh, this is going to be really easy and this is going to be really quite fun to do. And actually the more I've kind of progressed through this, oh God, there's some really interesting challenges here. So one of my first points of call is actually just take your time. It's quite difficult just with even the key that we're working in, G sharp minor, how difficult that is just to kind of get all the notes right. And I think one of the things Edexcel are going to be looking at this year is to make sure that you guys have got the right octaves and to make sure that you guys have got the exact pitches. And that is obviously one of the mark schemes, but I think they're going to be quite heavy on that this year. So just make sure as you go through that you're checking the pitches, you're checking the octaves, and also checking the rhythms as well, because some of the rhythms on this are really complex. And the score has done a really good job of making sure that they've replicated those pitches and replicated those rhythms quite exactly, actually. So use the score as your guide, check it, keep referencing. Remember, you've got these 5 sharps here. The only ones that are not sharp is your B and your E. Everything else is sharp, okay? So the other thing you're going to notice here is you've got 2 layers. Now these are in octaves. Pretty much every time you see this note on the solo, it's an octave, okay? And then once it gets to the second part, you have just these individual notes as well. So anything above this first ledger line, where this note is here, is a 3. So this one here is D sharp 3, and as we go up, we're then going into the 4s, which are here. Anything below this ledger line is 3 and below, so you just have to count them up. And that references against these numbers here on your piano roll. So just keep that in mind. Now this piano solo is almost identical in both places that it's played. And I will share these screenshots with you to make sure you've got my piano roll as well. But you will have to check for yourself just in case I've made a mistake. Because I've found this quite challenging as I've gone through to make sure that I'm playing in the right key and to make sure I've done everything right. So just keep referencing, make sure you do the same. So we've got it in 2 places. Both points are this chorus, so chorus 1 and chorus 2. And both times it just stops before the end and then lets the other piano part roll out. It is in the centre and it's quite prominent in the centre, although it's lower than the vocal. What I've had to do since the last lesson is I've actually duplicated my piano roll. And you don't necessarily have to do this. You could use a stereo widener and just have the stereo width panning hard left and hard right. In order for me to create a bit of space in the center, that's what I've done. I've lowered their volumes and I've panned this piano left, hard left, and this piano hard right. And essentially that just gives you enough space for this solo piano to beam through the middle. And as you can see, they're relatively low in the mix. As this main piano goes through, I have had to use a piece of automation. So if I just click the A button now, you can see that it starts off at this level. And then when it gets to the second piano, it does get a lot more emphasized. So it does get a lot louder and kind of more pushy. So you will need to use a bit of automation there. Let me just play what I've got so far. And this is a good port of call, is as you go through, just keep soloing the part, keep referencing against original. Now, I haven't been doing this in the past lessons because I wasn't really sure if I was allowed to play the original track, but I do want to demo how I kind of process this information. So if I double click on this piano roll and I set up my loop, I can slightly squeeze this information in just so I can see it as much as possible without distorting my grid. So here's my grid, and let's just make that a bit bigger. Now if I just solo this, as this piano solo happens, you should be able to follow along with the grid and make sure that everything is in time. Now let me just play it once, just so you can see the thought process there. So here we go.
If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it.
So you can see that as it's going through, you can actually reference the grid. And if you're not sure about a particular rhythm, you can just zoom out a little bit more. You can make your loop smaller. So you're just looping, say, a 2-bar phrase. Now let me just do the same on that two bar phrase. So here we go.
You gave me a chance, I would take it.
And you can see that it's almost identical. The next thing I can do, if I can hear pitches as well, solo them both together, and you'll hear if any of your notes are kind of clashing or banging against each other.
You gave me a chance, I would take it.
Okay, so once you've done that process, and I keep doing this backwards and forwards, and then I'll move my loop section over and I'll do the next bit. After that, you then want to play the solo part. So let's just play that. And it's quite flimsy. The sound isn't exactly right. I'm using the Steinway piano here, and it's a nice piano, but I am going to have to kind of make it a bit more beefed up, and I can probably do that with a bit of EQ and add some extra effects and extra compression. But let's play all the piano parts together just so you can see where I'm at with the piano mix at the moment. Turn this loop section off. Okay, so it's not too bad. There's still a bit of work there to be done, but for the most part, it works. And I can play that with the whole track in a minute, but let me just show you where I'm at with the actual instrument sound itself. So let's come over here and just have a look at the settings that I've got. So once again, it's going through the middle of the panning. It's quite low in the mix, but you're going to have to balance that, and I will keep coming back to that and balancing it against all my other instruments as I make a full mix. I've added my characteristic reverb on bus 3. I've also added a bit of the bus 6, and this came with it, and it's a bit of chorus, so basically it's essentially a second reverb, so I don't necessarily need that, and in many respects it's probably causing me a few issues, so I'll just turn that off for now. I've got a nice little tape delay. Now what I'm hearing, especially in like the violins, and we'll get to the violins in a sec, that I'm hearing quite a lot of delayed sound, and it's making the mix sound like there's more instruments there than there actually is. So we will have to kind of do a bit more analysis onto the delays and suitable delays. I'll share my screenshot with the tape delay that I'm using. This is currently what I've got, but I'll share that on the lesson. I've got a compressor, but that was just a built-in one. And then I've got the actual sound. And once again, I'll share this screenshot so you can see what I've done. Mostly, it's just this envelope 2 that I've changed. When we're using the Steinway Piano 2, what you'll notice is the cutoff is actually routed to the velocity of the notes that are playing. So depending on how loud you're playing the notes, that's how the cutoff is routed. So I could change this as much as I want to, but it won't do anything because everything is happening on this dial here. So just be very aware of that. If you do use a Steinway piano, at the moment the cutoff is routed. You can turn this off, of course, but that's how it's set up at the moment. I'm not totally displeased with this, but I do need to beef the sound up. And finally, probably the biggest area that I've had to enhance is this kind of EQ settings. The original just shines a lot more than the Steinway does, so you do have to kind of take a bit of that muffled sound out and brighten it up a little bit, and that's kind of what I've done here. And once again, I've boosted it quite extensively, about 10 decibels, so I may have to bring that down. I may have to shape that a bit more, but this is a pretty good starting point. Let me show you where I'm at with the mix, and I'm going to let you get on and do your own. So let me just mute the actual track, and let me just show you where I'm at. So it's starting to gel together. You can hear that it's starting to come together. There's a lot of mixing to do though. It's quite a complex arrangement, this one. I'm really enjoying it, but I can see that UAS guys are going to be struggling when it comes to the mix, but you will have to spend quite a bit of time doing the mix. At the moment, I'm just working harder on getting the instruments in, and then I'll look at the balancing further. Remember, rhythm and pitch is going to be your ultimate goal with this. Analyze it, look at it in depth, and just do your best to get them absolutely perfect. I'll see you in the next lesson.